one of the main things that I'm going to be talking about is using AI tools and strategies to be able to leverage your data and making sure that you're making your entire team and company be focused on the things that need to get done. And that is how to generate more leads and using AI to do that. And I'm going to talk about my experiences. And because I want to do that, and you can, if you have any questions, go ahead and you can scan the QR code, or even go to kendallmatthews.com, ask, and I can answer those questions for you. But the people I'm talking to you is you marketers. And you can go ahead and stop sharing the screen, because I want to make sure I'm focusing on talking to the folks who are really going to make sure the things that need to be taking place. And that is how to be able to use these AI tools to get more qualified product demos. And that's what I've been able to do by utilizing a couple of different tools. I'm going to tell you a couple of things of how you can do that. Number one, it's now more than ever is to understand there's three areas that you need to focus on, and that is your people, your processes, and the tools that you have. And I'll focus on the people that and part of your team, and that people is going to be the sales team that you're partnering with, and of course your marketing team members, and the product team member that you're working with as well. Now, one of the areas that you have to understand is us marketers, especially for focusing on performance marketing and demand generation, are focused on how we're able to communicate, tell better stories, and all of these things. But how can we use the AI tools today to be able to do that? And one of the areas I found that has been very helpful is being able to use the ability to focus on those individuals who are in the sales team. For example, your sales development reps, how you're able to get the sales development reps and the AEs working together and getting the information they need. And the secret way to do that is you already have the information inside your data if you're focused on getting more product demos. Typically, what I found in the companies that I've worked with is once you have an AE, they use their Salesforce or even their HubSpot links to be able to put in what's called first meeting notes. And this is key for you marketing folks. You need to make sure that your entire team in performance marketing and your marketing team, your content creators, your video people, have access to the notes that your account executives or your SDRs are putting inside of your system. Now, you say, what is a first meeting note? Well, let me define that for you specifically. Your first meeting notes are when your AEs or your SDRs have a meeting with a qualified product in demo, and they're putting in the notes of, hey, here's what I've learned about this individual, and then is this lead qualified or not? So that's what your AE is putting inside of the system. Typically, it's going to be Salesforce or your HubSpot. When they put those notes inside of the system, and then they have that qualified lead with that AE, and they have that meeting, those notes are very important for you as a performance marketers and demand generation to be able to read, understand, and know that the lead that you brought in is not a cold lead anymore. It is a warm lead because they had the demo and they're going to the next step. And for most companies, that is either working with the sales engineers to be able to go and figure out their specific use cases. Now, let's focus on that qualified product demo and those first meeting notes. If you're working with your AEs and sales development reps and understanding what they're putting inside of those first meeting notes, the main thing that you're looking for is the pain that your AE has identified that they need to, that your software, your platform, your service can make sure that they're taking care of those pain points. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for how to be able to create the pain to other individuals based upon that qualified individual that you've talked to, and then create more content from that. And that all starts with having great first meeting notes. So if you're a marketing leader, you need to make sure that you're working with your sales leadership team or your CEOs or CEO or the chief product officers, and making sure that the first meeting notes are very detailed oriented. Now, what you want to do with those first meeting notes is this, and here's where it gets great. Is you're going to be able to take those first meeting notes, and what we've had in the companies I've worked with is from a Salesforce and Slack Zapier integration. All the information is put inside of Slack, and then when you get that notification, You have all these great data that you want to make sure all your team understands that this is of someone who's qualified. And taking that information from those first meeting notes, and you can download all that information. Once you download, don't even, and this is what's great that's going on, because as of this recording and as of this conversation, you have the OpenAI and Google just released some great information. What I have to do is pull this information, and it has the person, the company they talk to. They had the first meeting notes like I talked about, and everything, even the industry that this company's in. You pull all that information into structured information, and then, depending upon if your company wants, is you place that information into any type of large language model that you're used to. So, for example, if you're going to use ChatGPT, and you can give that information, and here's the first step, is you want to ask ChatGPT to be able to pull this information and give you a table and create a table with the company name and then also the first meeting notes. And what it's going to do is going to organize all this information for you a lot faster than what you can do on your own with copying, pasting, and putting into CSV files. And this is important, and I'm going to tell you why it's going to be very important for you to understand. Having this information structured and having the AI tools to be able to do that for you. Because once you have it in a table, once you're uploading your data, if it's dependent upon your company requirements, is then what you're going to do is you're going to ask it to create a content strategy. So asking your large language model tools to create a content strategy for you. And the reason why you want to do this, especially now, is to get the tokenizations and get them thinking about what you're going to be creating in the back end for you. So it's going to create a lot of content strategy. And you can create one on your own because you've been doing this for a long period of time. But you want to get inside of that chat screen thinking about, hey, here's what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm focused on. And once you do that, once you have that content strategy, you want to make sure. And here's the first thing that it's going to be very helpful for you is once it creates that table for you, then you want to use the first meeting notes to create headlines. So you're going to use your prompt. You're going to put in a prompt to use all the first meeting notes to create headlines for you. And what I found is that all this information is created for you in a couple of seconds of creating all your headlines. Once you have those headlines created for you, then then you're going to be able to create another prompt. You're going to ask for the AI tools to be able to create headlines, create 25 headlines without the company name. So without the company name, that's going to be very helpful for you, because now what you're going to have is these headlines without company name. You're going to have headlines with company names with there, and you're going to have this file of all the pain points that your qualified product demos has occurred. So you see what I'm saying? This is going to be great, because what you're doing is you're targeting the audience who wants to talk to you. You're targeting the audience who's already talked with your AEs, potentially even talked with your sales engineers, and you've identified that this is a good prospect for you to continue on. And once you do that, once you take that information, then you create content that's already addressing their pain points. And that's what the beauty of being able to utilize these AI tools now. And it's so exciting to be able to do that. Putting that all together, once you have these headlines, you want to recreate these 25 headlines and get that information to be able to put that. And here's what I've done is put that into another tool, and a tool that's very helpful, because there's two places that I play in, and that is on LinkedIn and then YouTube. And the tool that I believe has been very beneficial for me and the people that I've worked with is called vidIQ. Because what vidIQ is able to do is able to fine tune those information that you already have. So you already know the pain point of those qualified product demos. So they're already qualified. You already talked to the AE, they're moving down the pond. You know what the pain point is. You know what their needs are for that industry, for that company. And then you have another tool like vidIQ or any other tool like using Gemini as well, to be able to create more of that target audience that you want to be able to focus on. Because Once you're focusing on different target audiences that are actually qualified for you, now's the opportunity for you to create more content around that pain point and using AI tools to do that for you at a faster clip. Understanding that this faster clip is a first step. And that's all it is a first step. So you can get the information out faster for you. And once you do that, once you put that information into a tool like vidIQ, there's a section in there that you can start from ideas from any of those headlines you have. And then in this AI tool, you're able to create something that's even better for you. You can be able to create the different type of thumbnails that you need, an outline for scripts, and then preview that information for you. Doing this, being able to use the different tools, especially the long language models now, you're going to be able to streamline your content strategy based upon those individuals who you've already deemed to be qualified. And that's what's key. That's what no one's really talking about right now, is what strategies that you can actually do today with the data that you have. Now, once you create these outlines and all this information that you have, what's so great about now is that with what I've run into a challenge and a problem before is, how can I get my SDRs and my AEs on the same point for training and onboarding? Because remember, I talked about people, processes, and tools. So what is that processes with onboarding? Because it's great, you created all this content, you created all this information, you understand the pain point, but are your other team members going to be able to communicate to the next individuals that are coming through, your next prospects or leads that are coming through, the right way? How you want them to be able to focus on the main pain points and identify those pain points, and then show them that your product, your service is able to help them out. So as of right now, what I'm so excited about, because my problem was I have all these SDRs and I have all to train about this process that I have. How can I, instead of me doing it over and over again, every time I'm hiring new individuals, how can I make sure all the right information is given at the same time with regards to training the pain points for our prospects when they're doing their onboarding? And so now that OpenAI has opened up free platforms, one of the things I can do, because of the teams that I have are global, is to be able to create these training GPTs. So using AI tools for training GPTs for onboarding, and then putting all of those qualified product demos information from that CSV file that I told you that we have already put in ChatGPT to spit out for us, and uploading your own internal training bots, and making sure that those internal training bots are using the data that says that this is the persons that we want to target, and then training your SDRs on that. And I have it's been able to save me time previously in doing this, because he had to have the ChatGPT Plus, the Pro version. But now, since everyone's free, it has freed me up to be able to start creating these bots and training bots, and then putting this into onboarding sequences based upon the things that we want for our SDRs and BDRs to understand, and how to communicate, even the AEs, how to communicate to those individuals who need to understand, do they fit the band requirements that we need. The next thing in utilizing these new tools, and because it's free now, is how can we have brand consistency? So yes, you're not utilizing the ChatGPT content or the headlines to create all the content for you, because for one, you need to make sure you're consistent with your brand, and you're not just going to give your brand over to any of these AI tools to be able to create content for you, but you also need to have consistency. And so utilizing these GPTs that are now free, now when I have team members who are in Latin America or who are in the EU, they can have training on our brand consistency, and then also be able to test and see if their content is consistent to what we want to have put out on our LinkedIn posts, to make sure that we're targeting our right audience, and give them some type of guidance or some suggestions to be able to do or make some small tweaks to the content. And that's what's been very exciting for me to utilize these AI tools in helping with those people, the process, and of course the tools to be able to do that for increasing demand generation. One of the areas that I really think that we all need to make sure that we're understanding is that utilizing the AI tools, we're not going to give them away all of our creativity, giving away all of our opportunities of being able to think for ourselves. And that's what's great about demand generation is because there's things that these AI tools can't do. There's signals that they can't do right now that you as a human being can do. You can understand that if there is a significant event in one of your target companies and your target accounts, if you're focused on account-based marketing, if they had a great funding round or if they hired some more individuals for their team, you can take that information and find that faster than any of the tools that are AI tools that are out there and understand how it relates to your target addressable market. And then be able to create a plan of action to how you get in front of those individuals. And what I've seen right now is that there's a lot of when you're doing your Google search, and now there's a lot of content that used to be the links used to be there. Now it's a whole bunch of Reddit information where, all right, now all my links are gone. Now all that hard work that I did for SEO, it looks like it's evaporating. So now more than ever, there's three areas that you really need to think of. And that's how can I be more omnipresent inside and for to the target markets that we're looking at. And so how can I be focused on video creation? And what I've been focused on is using the mobile marketing and video first in everything that we create. So how can we make sure that if we're utilizing YouTube properly and utilizing that first, how can we utilize that information for text based? And then how can we utilize that to help our sales development reps and our BDRs to communicate on LinkedIn and create posts and create engagement for them? And then once they do those engagements and putting in the information from HubSpot to be able to make sure that we're nurturing those individuals based upon their pain points to see if it's get that quick yes or no. And that's what's been great about utilizing these new AI tools now. So one of the things that what I believe that we all need to continue to remember is that it's our people, our processes, and our tools that we need to focus on every day, no matter what AI tools that we have. But then utilize these AI tools to figure out how can we better communicate to our target markets who are qualified primarily, and then build out strategies for those qualified individuals. Then utilizing those qualified markers that you have to give that to your outreach team. And a great tool that I found that's been very helpful for outreach has been Amplemarket, and utilizing those platforms that have a great focus on outreach, and then communicating through those platforms very tight sentences for your outreach emails that you're going to be sending out to those individuals. That focuses on that pain point, giving something of value. That is the ability for right now to be able to create these AI tools to be able to utilize more demand generation. So if you have more questions, of course, the opportunity is to go ahead and scan the QR code or go to kendallmatthews.com and just ask, and I can answer more questions even through a video. But the best way that I found is to be able to utilize your data that you already have. So make sure that your teams are focused on putting in those first meeting notes. If you're not doing that now, make sure you start doing that inside of your Salesforce or HubSpot CRM platform or whatever platform that you're using. Make sure your entire team is looking at those first meeting notes and discussing about them and then creating strategy around those first meeting notes, because those are qualified. Then that's what you want, to focus on those individuals who are qualified. And then from those first meeting notes, utilizing the AI tools to create the visuals, to create the content, to create the stories that will be able to attract more leads. And that is what you can do today a lot faster than ever before. And that's what's so exciting about these times right now. Jenny, that's what I want to make sure that people are aware of. And so I want to give them time. And if you have any questions, I'm going to answer.
Yeah, we can give them a few seconds to see if we get anything come through. I don't know if you saw Drew Phillips' comment on LinkedIn.
I did not.
It's not really a question, but he brings up some interesting points. So he said, one thing to remember is that ChatGPT will view your upload table with all your first meeting notes as a single data set. So a great suggestion to generate a content strategy, but it won't vectorize the individual segments of data. Do you have any thoughts or feedback on that?
Yes. The reason why I asked them to just generate the content strategy is I already have a strategy, right? So as other marketers and performance marketers, we already have a strategy. But what I want to do is just prep so to think about the things that we want them to do. And that's the main thing. What I want to get is what is the company or the firm's name? And I want to get clean information from the first meeting notes and then start creating information around those type of things.
Great.
Get the headlines. Give me the bullet points. Give me something as a first draft that I can quickly be able to go over and create a great outline inside of my video that I create.
Yeah, no, I love that. Another question I saw is what AI tools do you recommend and how to decide which are the most accurate and helpful?
Gotcha. So what I recommend first is, depending on your budget, is I used to focus on, hey, I'm just going to, since I'm paying for the pro version of OpenAI, I'm going to just use that. Then I'm like, no, I'm using OpenAI, Gemini, and Claude, and even Perplexity for sources because I want to get the source information. So those are the tools that I pay. I pay for OpenAI's platform. Another tool that if you are have a marketing team of size, I use Jasper because they already have a lot of the great information for brand consistency built in. And that's so much easier than trying to use ChatGPT and having different people utilizing the different processes. Is have one marketing team platform and building that out. Jasper's great. But I think the tools and the budget that you have is like, what I found is what can you just working with your finance team is here's a return of investment that I'm going to be able to have. And how long is that going to take? Don't forget that. The CEO that you're working with, the finance team is what you're working with. If we're going to put $5,000 into this project, when is the market return is going to be? And that's where you go back and talk about the content strategy, building it out, and putting all these different tools in that place. I would recommend focus on one tool. If we're starting out, depending on how large your team is, and get the free version of vidIQ and start building things up with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the second time vidIQ has come up today. So I guess that's the tool to use.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Another question that just came in developing a content strategy, are there so many components to consider? I think when there are so many components to consider, what should be included and how do you prioritize what those key components are?
Perfect question. So, and that's where going back to having your, when you're putting in your qualified product demo, a CSV file, and then putting that inside of your LLM or large language model that you use to come up with that content strategy. Mm-hmm. So we all know what that looks like. Key points, blog posts, webinars, and all of that. But what you do is, and here's your trick, is look at your team. Do you have the right team to be able to execute all these things? Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the answer is yes. So it depends. If you have a team of one, hey, video and LinkedIn. Don't worry about all the other things.
Yeah.
You have more than that. Hey, let's look at what's your webinar strategy looking like? What does your other multimodal platforms that you can look at? Paid media budget and all that. But I'll just focus on getting that outline content strategy based upon your qualified product demos. And then look at your team and see who can execute. Do I need more? That's where we ask for more budget.
I see. Are there anything like, do you see AI as a tool to maybe help you do more with your budget? Rather than just asking.
Yes.
I know everyone's
getting all the secrets.
Getting asked to do more with less. So what is like advice that you have there.
Yes. So just between you and me. All right. No one else is listening. You take all the different tools that you have that you're looking at spending for. You have your content strategy based on qualified product demos. And then you ask your large language model, hey, here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I want to do. I want you to act as a CEO and grill me on what I should or should not do. That's different. People have been asking, all right, what can I do with this? You're asking the large language models to grill you, interview you, because you're going to have to talk to your CEO and ask for more budget. Utilizing this as your confidant, your assistant, to making sure that you're asking the right questions and having practice before you ask your CEO or your finance team for more budget. And then what I've done is figure out, all right, with these different budgets, how long is it going to be take for my return of investment? And that's based upon your sales velocity, your pipeline, and all that, and plug it in there and seeing if it's right or not. The main thing is you need to know your numbers and you need to know your data. And the cleaner the data, the better. That's why I believe that more marketing folks should take off their marketing hat and put on their revenue operations. Say it with me. Write this down. Become revenue operations. I know one of my friends really loves that term. Yeah. It's don't get caught up in I'm the marketing person. I'm the revenue person. I bring money. And then you come in with that type of attitude and a mindset with the data to back it. Conversation's a lot easier. Guaranteed.
Well, great. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap up this session. If people have questions, is the best way to reach you through the QR code, LinkedIn?
I'm so easy to find. Just type my name in the browser, Kendall Matthews or kendallmatthews.com, and I'm there for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kendall. It's been great.
Got it.